All right, man, you already know what to do here. Like, click, and subscribe, do all that. This one, I got a special one for you right now. We're going to Netflix. We're going to do Unsolved Mysteries. Yes, they're bringing it back to Netflix. Matter of fact, this episode's special. We can't just do it like this. We got to do it right. Hey, yo, you already know what time it is. Cue the goddamn music. All right, so we already know about how it was back in the day, the original Unsolved Mysteries that came out. It came out back in like 1987. I didn't even know it lasted all the way up until 2010. It's crazy. So for people that don't know, back in the day, it was basically about tales that were uncovering crimes. Some of them had tales of lost love, some of some unexplained history, and then you had something that happened that was some paranormal events. You know, personally, I remember it for a lot of like missing, like disappearances, or like some things that happened that are fatal. Like the more lighter tone things were about, you know, people saying UFO sightings or aliens or stuff of that nature. But yeah. I always think about the original host when it comes to mine. There he is, Robert Stacks. You know what it is, you know what time it is when it came to that. So, you know, Netflix wanted to take that approach and say, you know what, we're gonna bring Unsolved Mysteries back. And it was done by the creators of the original Unsolved Mysteries, and also had some help from the directors of Stranger Things. Another Netflix greatness. You know what I'm saying? They will have season 4 coming out, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Unsolved Mysteries. And basically, I'm just gonna delve into the first episode, which there's 6 episodes in the first season, but I'm gonna delve into the first episode. It's called Mystery on the Rooftop. And so the episode's basically explained is, after rushing from his home, Ray Rivera disappears. Days later, his car is found, and a strange sight at the historic hotel triggers a baffling mystery. Yeah. So it starts off with a wedding video. Ray and Allison are about to get married, so that's all fine and dandy. But then a couple days after their marriage, Ray ends up disappearing, and she was saying that he ran out the house with something urgent or something. Ray's brother is there too, also explaining his comments in the commentary for, you know, for the purposes. So Ray had worked for a guy who was a friend of his by the name of Porter Stansberry. And out here we do have a Stansberry Corporation. Yeah, so his disappearance happened like May 12th, 2006. And it just so happened to happen in Baltimore. I swear I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't realize the first episode took place in my hometown. But, you know, that's just what it is. Allison and Ray moved into this house back in 2004. So they were here for about 2 years before the incident occurred. And I think they came from Orlando, Florida. And a lot of his family is from Orlando, Florida, too. But they moved all the way out from here to Baltimore. So this one particular evening, Allison had a house guest named Claudia, who was actually able to get in contact with Ray because Allison could get in contact with him earlier. And she made a call, and Ray was immediately rushing out the house to get to something. I don't know. The situation was he immediately just rushed out the house. And at this point, that was the last time they saw him. And he was basically running out the house. Nobody knows what for, what the situation was. But she was saying that they heard the panic in his voice, and he looked scared. So at this point, nobody knew where he was, and it basically became a missing persons report. So after about 6 days after nobody could find him, not his family, not his side of the family, her side of the family, nobody. They were passing by St. Paul Street, and this is where they found his car. But the crazy thing is, there was no cell phone in it, no evidence. The car was bare clean. It was nothing in it. And this right here was the ticket on the car stating that the car was sitting there since the night he was missing. So that car's been sitting there for 6 days. Yeah. Now, the area where they found the car was in a parking lot right near the Belvedere Hotel. All right, and this is where it starts to get crazy. Over here at this Belvedere Hotel. All right, so 3 workers decide to go over there by the garage near the Belvedere Hotel. And the little spot over here is a hole where somebody could have fell through or whatever like that. It's flip-flops next to the hole. And there's the official hole. There's no way to see it from the ground. You would have to see it from the parking garage part or at the top of the Belvedere Hotel. All right, so this guy goes in to open up the door to the where the hole fell in at, and he ends up identifying as Ray's body. Though they had to identify like a day later, but they identified his body was so mangled, and the way his body was set up, he was sitting in another room just disfigured, laying up against the wall. It was freaking insane. And this is how the whole of the roof looked from the inside looking out. Crazy. All right, so let's get to the nitty gritty of how this could be possible or how this could have happened. So as they explained, he was on the top part of the roof. For him to get to that point, that's like a 40 to 45 foot jump. For him, now, seemingly they said it was running involved and then jumping off the roof or being thrown or whatever the case may be to traject yourself to this point. This literally impossible. If you were falling at that speed, 9 times out of 10, you would have missed that part of the roof and landed on the street. So it's crazy. All right, so then they talk about how they found his cell phone, but they didn't find his cell phone at the top of the roof. They found it at the part where the hole is that he fell through. Yeah, no joke, right? There it is. And not only was his cell phone on that part of the roof, but also his glasses were there too. There you go. You see the glasses right there. So some people were saying the glasses and the cell phone were planted there because there's no way that both the cell phone and the glasses would be in tip-top shape, falling from the top part of the hotel to that bottom part, 45 feet through to make a hole to go through there and land in that conference room. It is absolutely ridiculously impossible for the glasses and the cell phone to come out without a scratch on it. And another thing that's odd is they have this, it's a certain pathway that you have to take, and 9 times out of 10 it's locked to the public. Like people that work there would know the certain pathway to get to that certain part of the roof. So there's no way he got there without either to that part or to even get to the top without somebody knowing something of how to even access those parts of the buildings in the first place. As you can see the outside part right here, this is where the roof part of it, the bottom part of the roof is. And then what's even crazier is even if they said that he tried to go in through that point or whatever, there are cameras everywhere. Where's the footage? You know what I'm saying? So there's no way he could even got close to being at that level, like just being there by himself without camera footage to be operated. Who took the camera footage? Was it even possible to take that? You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother mystery in itself right there. So at a certain point of investigating with no evidence, the police just chalked it up to a suicide. Now, it's not uncommon to have open cases when it comes to police, but this is one of the strangest open cases I've ever heard, like with nothing to go off of, no evidence of anything. Now, they found letters in his drawer about, they would look like very cryptic letters or whatever like that. And when the encryption, they were trying to line it up, whatever, Allison had looked it up on the internet and the first thing came out was Freemasons. You know what I'm saying? So now she goes on record as saying these are not suicide notes or anything like that. And she's still trying to figure out to this day what really happened. So Ray was working with Porter before this incident and all this stuff, and he's working for him for a while. There was some different settings and backgrounds that came out where, you know, whatever happened with the stories and stuff, it ended up costing the corporation a lot of money, like $1.5 million. And to this day, Porter has not given a statement about anything, hasn't said anything to anybody. Actually, when they talked to him, they made sure the corporation, they put a gag order on any employee working there that said, do not talk to about anything about unless seeing a lawyer. So, wow. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of shadiness going around here. A lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of foul play. The sad thing about this whole situation is that the officer that was assigned to it, 3 weeks after that, they assigned him to something else, and they basically dropped the case and still claimed it as a suicide. So to this day, 14 years later, they still don't know what happened, the results of what happened. We just know that Ray is not alive anymore. And Allison misses him to this day. She said she was watching her wedding tape. She said she couldn't watch it for 6 years after that. And she just recently started watching it again because the image of him moving around, you know. She could watch still images of him, but she couldn't watch him moving around because it felt like he was still there with him. And yeah, man, it's crazy. But that's just episode 1. It's 6 episodes on the season. You know, Unsolved Mysteries, man. It's like that, man. But basically, you know, like, click, and subscribe. What we want to do, I'm giving it a thumbs up on it because it takes me back to my childhood of watching the show. And it's back on Netflix. Unsolved Mysteries. You already know what it is. Mr. Ow. B.